Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today we're going to do a comprehensive guide of crafting from brand new starting all the way to the very end with finishing guilds and doing Umbar dailies, okay? So I'm going to walk you through all of it today. That's what the goal of this video is. I've been planning this video for a few weeks and been doing stuff and practicing and making sure I have everything down for you. So I will do my very best to do everything here. I will post some stuff with wiki links as well to the wiki LOTRO page, and we will cover all of this today. I'm going to try to do this in a fast way, but at the same time a very comprehensive and methodical way so that you guys can catch on to things and follow along if you're brand new, or if you are someone who needs a refresher course and you've been playing the game for a long time and you're just like, well, I really need to get into the hardcore crafting stuff. So anyway, this will be a more advanced video, but it is going to be for all levels, okay? So just so everyone knows, I'll probably have on my advanced playlist for guides, but it will be good for beginners as well. I'm going to walk you through the entire process, okay? So with that little intro out of the way, don't forget to like and subscribe if you would, if this helps you out and you like positive community with Tolkien content and Lord of the Rings Online. You're in the right place. All right, so now I'm going to get straight into it again, but I just have to couple things off the bat. I'm going to give you some hints, some tricks and speed up things at the very end that aren't really relevant to doing this if you're like free to play or something like that. So we're going to start with just going through how you do it normally, and then I will show you some tricks and things you can get in the LOTRO store stuff at the very end, which won't be relevant to most people. So that's what it'll be. We'll put them at the end. But let's get straight into it. So the first thing you're going to have to do is there's certain locations. I'm going to show you. I'll jump around and show you spots with little teleports where you need to go and be, but at the same time where you need to start and all stuff. And I'm going to talk it out as well. So let's start with the first thing. You're brand new. You have a brand new character, and you open up your crafting tab, all right, which again, if you need to get to your crafting tab, that will be the letter T on your keyboard, or you can click the little anvil down there at the bottom and it'll bring up the crafting tab. Now you're going to have nothing here. It's going to say go to a apprentice crafter person, all right? So I'm going to show you where all those are right now, so that's the first thing we're going to start with. So here we go, teleport to that. Kazad! All right, so the first place you can go, there's a couple different places. I'm going to show you all of them real fast. The first one is you can go to the Breetown crafting hall here. All right, so if you go to the map, you'll look, we're standing right here in Bree, so you know the exact location. All right, it's right there, and you'll just go to this, and you'll go to this crafting door here, and you'll go inside here, and you need to find this person. Now these are different characters, but same names. So we have Master of Apprentices, and we have Master of Crafting Guilds. Don't worry about the crafting guilds yet. We're going to talk about that partway through the video, okay? So let's just start with first Master of Apprentices. You're going to click on this, and you're going to choose your crafting professions. Now, it used to be you just choose, and you'd have 3 options. But now we get to pick between what groups. Last time, it used to be a long time ago, you just pick and it would be all 3 professions hooked together and that's all you could do. Now you get to pick and choose what you want. So if I click on this guy, you can see here's a bunch of options. Also, another cool thing that I will explain in just a moment is now you can actually like have a 4th profession on the character, and you can also pick and choose. But let's one step at a time. So you'll go ahead and you'll pick all of your different professions. Now some of you are going to ask me, Zollin, what's the best grouping of professions to have on a character? Every character can have 3 professions, okay? And technically a 4th one if you want to buy it with the LOTRO points. Now, just so everybody knows, if you wanted to get, let's say, the least amount of characters, right, to have slots on, you could do 4 on one character and buy 1 slot on that character, like I do here on my main character, and then you could have 2 other characters, and that would cover all 10 professions, okay? There's 10 professions, and 2 of them are a special harvesting type, all right? So this is kind of good to know, all right? So let's just go ahead and really talk about it real quick with all the professions. We have cook, okay? You can make different kinds of foods. It's great and all. It really pairs well with farming, all right? So farmer can, you know, sounds what it sounds like, right? You farm, make food, and all the different things for recipes and stuff like that. And then we also have the scholar. These can make really cool crafting things and all the different tomes that help give buffs. It's a very good wood crafting as well. And then we also have forester, which is someone who can collect wood, and they tan hides and leathers and make you know, specialized wood pieces and stuff. They're kind of like they're one of the working classes. They're kind kind of the counterpart to Prospector, okay? Now, Prospector's not going to show up right here because I am a Prospector. So Prospectors, you're going to have all 10 options. When you first click on it, you're going to have no crafting chosen yet, so you'll have all 10 options right here on the little thing that pops up, okay? But Prospectors are what they sound like. They look for materials that are ores and gems and around the world, and you get a little skill. All of the ones that gather things will get a special skill to find those said gathering items, okay? I'll explain which ones in just a moment. And then we have the next one is the weaponsmith. The weaponsmith is someone who, well, makes weapons. Yep, who would have guessed it? They usually make more on the metal side of weapons, though, like swords and spears and things like that. Then the counterpart of that is the woodworker, okay? They're someone who's really good at making bows, and they can make some different wooden shields and stuff. There's a lot to unpack in those. I'll have separate videos that talk about each ones because I could take 20 minutes on each one just talking about it. We're not going to do that here in this video because this is talking you through the whole process. And then metalsmiths are making heavy armor, usually shields, heavy, you know, all that armor. And then the tailor makes medium and light armor. Pretty obvious, right? You know, your leather things, cloth armor, the really small stuff. And then, of course, we have jeweler. Jeweler makes all the jewelry, which gives a lot of stats in the game. And a couple other things. They're very handy as well. So now that we talked about all 10 professions, you need to choose what combos are good for you, okay? Now, I have a wonderful officer, one of my viewers, Mr. Ravel, in our kinship. We were talking about what the best combos are, and I agree with him on what he was saying the best combos are. All right, so this would be the setup I would tell you when it came to if you wanted to buy one slot on one character. So if you wanted to have all 10 professions on only 3 characters, the best combo that me and my officer, Mr. Ravel, were talking is that you'd probably want to have the one that had 4 slots. So like, for example, my character here, Zollin, you'd want to have metalsmith, jeweler, weaponsmith, and prospector because they're all the ore set, okay? And another thing to think about when you're thinking about these setups is that every time you, there's a few of the things that give you a tracker. Remember I mentioned that a minute or two ago? The track, like for example, prospectors get track mines, okay? So you can look at them on the map. Foresters get to track branches or like fallen logs, right? They can cut up. Scholars get to track special like treasures around the map that they can pick up and get special script out of for their crafting. And then you also have farmers who can track food, all right? So, but here's the thing that you have to think about. Those 4 tracking skills you cannot all have them all turned on at the same time. So you actually have to, like, if you're walking around, you have to have one on and then turn another one on if you had multiple in the same character. That could be a little frustrating. So now I'll tell you the next combos besides the 4, all right? Then I would recommend the next group being Forester, Tailor, and Woodworker. That is because those are all hide and wood professions all put together, and the Forester is the one that allows you to track the forest things. And the other group being, I just said again, to repeat myself, metalsmith, jeweler, weaponsmith, and prospector allows you to track just the ore and use ore with those professions. And then for the last one would be cook, farmer, and scholar. And again, there is 2 tracking abilities there, food and scholar, but they kind of all work together really well still with things they do. So those are the combos that we think are the best personally. And then if you're someone who doesn't want to buy an extra slot and you want to have a 4th character with one of the other ones thrown on there, you're going to have to decide. I'd probably recommend weaponsmith put on its own character and leave the other ones together, just because weaponsmith at the time of this video making it has a couple cool things that are still helpful, but they don't have like super good endgame stuff right now. That could change. I'll leave a comment if it changes. So that's the good combos to think about. All right, so now that we've covered that, and you kind of have the know-how there, keep in mind a few other things. So I told you about the tracking skills, why those combos are good, all right? And I can leave a comment in the description or the basically of those combo sets if you want to see that, of what crafting groups. And also keep remind of the tracking skills that you can only have on one at a time. So it's kind of nice to have them on separate characters. But if you had them on the same character, you could just turn them, switch them on which one while you're walking around if you wanted to. But remember, they only track about 100 like area, pretty much just slightly larger, a little bigger than the radar. So just keep that all in mind as well. All right, and again, I will have timestamps below if you want to hop to other parts of the video. feel free. I don't want people to feel like, oh no. So I'll have some timestamps talking about the guilds and stuff and the next things as well. But I want to have this comprehensive for you guys. All right, so now that we've covered that, also keep in mind that buying the extra slot, the new 4th slot for a character for crafting, you can only buy 1 more at this time. And also keep in mind that it is about 1,000 LOTRO points, where if you just wanted to buy an extra character slot to have a different character, or remember, you get a bunch of character slots, you'll have no problem if you don't want to buy that and have a 4th character with the other profession on it. So it's kind of convenience, pretty much all it is. So it's a cool addition. I like that Sending Stones did it. I would really like it if Sending Stones, if you guys would make it where the tracking abilities all worked at the same time. That would be really cool. That would be a nice little update. Not sure if that works with the system, but that would be really cool. All right, so now at this point, go ahead and choose your things. All right. Now, if you make a mistake, don't freak out. You can always click on something. I'm going to be very careful with this, but let's say I wanted to switch something to a farmer here, right? Or let's say instead of one of mine, I wanted to do the weaponsmith, right? I can click it, and it'll give this. This is a different tab, okay? So you won't see this tab when you've selected yours. Or actually, you will. It'll say train. It won't give you this option, though. I can actually replace one, and it'll say, confirm, do you want to replace it? It'll erase all of your work, okay? All of your work of crafting. Be very, very careful with that, okay? Don't do that unless you're just started and you're like, oh, wait, this is the wrong combo on this character, blah, blah. Be very careful. It will not save your progress. It'll erase whatever your one is and copy over it with a brand new, you have to do from scratch, whichever profession, okay? So keep that in mind. I'm not going to do that right now. But it's very helpful with all that stuff, though. And now, with that, let me explain real quick to you where all of the other Master of Apprentices are, okay, in case you're in different locations. So we have, again, Bree, like I already showed you. Then we also have one that is over in Mickle Delving, all right? So right when you go into Mickle Delving, you right south of the horse person, where this little blue thing is right there, that is where the other one is. So those are all the guild and the Master of... They're right there, okay? They're right in that spot right there. You just go up the hill from the horse thing south, and you'll find it. The next one is in Thorin's Hall. It's in the back, which I will show you in a minute with my other character, and it's in the crafting area, okay? So I'm going to show you all of that right now. Here we go. All right, so here's where you'd find it in Thorin's Hall. So you'd come into Thorin's Hall, and you'd walk here to the back, and it would be right here. So there's 2 of them. There is the Master of Guilds, which we don't need to think about right this very second yet, but and then we will find him walking around, and here's the Master of Apprentices in Thorin's Hall, and you can click on him, and he will even give you a starting quest. So when you first get your crafting, so let me just show you, it's gonna look like this, okay? It's gonna look like you're just apprentice with 0 out of 200 with 1 little anvil, okay? That's what it'll look like when you first choose all your crafting spots. Another thing to think about when you pick all your crafting spots for your character. Now, this character, I also bought an extra 4th one, but in all reality, the only reason I did was because I already had work in weaponsmith. Otherwise, I would have just had scholar, farmer, and cook, like I already explained to you guys. And also, when you pick them in order, it does place them in the order. You cannot move them. So if you are, have a little OCD or something, you want your things in a certain spot, you want scholar to be first, and then the next one, and then the next one. When you learn the skills on that character, make sure that you do choose them in the right order. Okay, when you click on him and choose your instruction profession, just keep that in mind, okay? And if you're replacing one, so for example, if I replaced weaponsmith with something, it would remove weaponsmith, move farmer and cook over, and put the new one on the 4th side, okay? So that's always how it works. It's kind of a random side note, but just for those who might want it. Now, one thing you're going to get immediately right when you get all your new professions, you're going to get these introduction quests from him. Go ahead and grab them. They'll really help you out. There's information. It'll explain stuff. Again, I'm not going to fully do all of these right now because I'm giving you the whole guide. So, but you could do these and speak to the novice cook near the oven, and they'll kind of teach you some stuff, go through some things, explain like that. So if I accept this quest, you'll notice that a quest will pop up. You can click on it. Speak to the novice cook near the ovens in the crafting area. All right. And then you can find where he is. Oh, look, there he is. Usually it'll always be the NPC in the same crafting district or area. In this case, it's Thorin's Hall, right? And then, you can talk to him. And he says, open the crate, and he'll give you some stuff and help you out and things like that, okay? So now, with that said, we are pretty much going on to part 2 here. Okay, so that was picking your professions, choosing on what characters, all that kind of stuff. All right, so now at this point, you got this thing, right? Let's look at farmer here. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's on apprentice. What do I do? How do I start going up in the world? So you can click this little plus, right? Get in here and work on it and look at all your things you need. Don't get too confused. I'm going to walk you through how do you level up through this to get to the guild stuff at the end game, right? And start getting to higher level stuff. Well, the first things first is you're going to need some kind of recipe, some kind of thing to do in this thing. There's a few good ways to speed it up. Okay, there's a crafting XP accelerator in the LOTRO store and things like that, and an accelerator. And if you are a VIP, you get this little jug you get to drink, and it'll increase it when you talk to the XP girl, and it'll basically make your crafting much faster and things like that. It's a very handy thing. There's also you're gonna have crafting tools they give you. All right, they're gonna be real basic. See, you'll have to equip the right crafting tool. This is really important if you're a new player. If you want to farm, you need to equip the farming tools, okay? So you'd right-click and equip it. Metalsmiths can actually craft better farming tools and a couple other of the classes, but we'll keep that as a side note right now. There is a cool thing you can buy in the store. I believe you can buy the Gundabad toolkit. I think there's a basic version of that in the store. It kind of just works for everything, and it's bound to a count, so you can share it between your characters if you wanted to, if you only had one. You could put it in your shared storage, and another character on that server could use it. Okay, so just keep that all in mind. And now with that, we will talk about how you basically start going through this, all right, and crafting quickly and things like that. So the next thing is, just so a side note, you can get these things from like our house, our kinship house. They're called universal crafting ingredients, and they allow you to craft things. Just keep a note that they will not give you experience towards your little experience bar to level up to the next thing. So those are kind of just more of a convenience thing if you want to make stuff. You'll need real ingredients. Like, for example, if I wanted to make this fish, I'd need a carp fish, right? And you can get those from other things, but I'm not going to go through every single crafting profession now, okay? So at this point, I'm just going to explain that, and then I'm going to continue on how to continue. I will have different separate videos on how to farm certain things, where to farm certain things. I've been working on that and planning that to make really detailed guides for you on that in the future. But this one today is how to get the next level, okay? So granted, you'll have to have the right kind of thing, and usually to cook, that'll give you experience. Farmers, by the way, can farm different things for you. So that's why you may want to be, and usually you just buy the seeds from a supplier or vendor. Okay, so just keep that all in mind. But again, I'll have a whole separate thing on that later. But just so everyone knows, you just need to go to a supplier. It's the green label, and I think there's one right over here. And you just go to a supplier, and if any item in the crafting says sold by a supplier or a vendor, just go to a provisioner or a supplier like these guys.
Greetings, traveler.
And let's see, I think it's
service.
See, and look, he even has seeds you could plant and different things. So then you could find the exact seed you need, right? And then you could plant it. And in fact, you can actually see a lot of these. Our bucket of water is sold by a supplier. All right, these seeds sold by a supplier. Sold by a supplier. So everything here is very easy. I could just go through and find all this right now and go ahead and buy it. Look, so see, there's one. You see I have 1 out of 1 now, and I could buy more. And also a little side note, if you hold shift, you could buy a stack of 500. So if you have that kind of money, be careful. It's cost your in-game money, right? And then also, like, if I wanted a bucket of water, right? I've always found that these filters are not super helpful. All right, this one is better. You can look for just crafting ingredients in case you don't want anything else to show up. But then you basically can just go through and get a little of everything. Here we go, bucket of water. There we go. Now I got my 1 bucket of water, and then I just need to get a handful of fertilizer, which in this case is a rotting pumpkin, which actually is a real thing. There we go. So now I could craft that, right? But the next thing is, well, it not only does it require my tools equipped, which they are equipped right there, okay, green. It says you need farmland. Well, there's no farmland here. At our kinship house, we have farmland, but you'll need to go to a farmland patch, and those are in different areas. If you look on the map, you'll always see these little yellow anvils. Those are workstations, okay? So you need the workstation that is for farming. And if you look right outside, look what we got. Farmland. So I had to go right outside of Thorin's Hall for that, okay? And then I could craft. So as you craft up a profession, all right, after you craft, you're going to get to 200, and then what's going to happen is it will open the next level. Okay, so I just going to jump over to Weaponsmith for a second. If you notice, it will open up Journeyman. Okay, so you're like, yeah, got to Journeyman. Now, if you keep working, there will be a new level that'll pop up. So let me just shut all these. Let's, for example, here's 2 good examples. See, the Supreme is the next level I need to finish, where it'll open the next one after that. But if you notice Master, I have the gray anvil is finished, but the gold one is not, okay? So I'd have to keep crafting and getting experience. And mind you, to know how much experience you get per crafting thing, it's right up here. And again, remember, there are some stuff in the LOTRO store that will increase XP earned by 100, which does help, you know, so turn, you know, these kind of things. Now, a good way to craft up quickly with things, all right, with most of the professions, actually, I should say, is processing. Processing is something where you can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, but you do start losing resources. So if you do the math, you will start losing some. So it takes, you know, to make one of these turns in, 4 of these turns into 1 of these, and 4 of these turns into 2 of these, but you start losing, right? There's a chance to crit, which will give you more back, but it's usually very low. Just have a generic 5%, that kind of thing. And it depends on what tools you have on. So as you can see here, if I wanted to do weaponsmithing, I don't have a smithing hammer equipped. I have the other one. So I'm going to go ahead and equip my Gundabad toolkit. And if you notice, if it doesn't update, it says it updated there, you can just close and reopen it. But as you can see now, I have a 25% chance to crit. That's from my tools. You might want to check that out if you want to get that. Just keep that all in mind. But anyway, as you go, you'll get experience and you finish the mastery level. When you finish the mastery level, it basically opens the ability to use some other stuff for certain things. So for example, if I wanted to craft these throwing axes, right? There's the good version of the item at the top, okay? And then there is the optional version down here that's just better, and you have to crit to get a certain chance. And as you can see, I could use this certain item. If you got it, it's a crafting stone, right? You'll find it by mining stone, just like you'd get ore. I could use that and make my crit chance go way up with my thing, okay? And then it might get this. Now, there are also some items you can go over here, these little arrows back and forth. If you have these universal crafting ingredient thing, these little stars, they will give you a 100% chance to crit. So you just save those for really good things. You really need to crit, like really fancy items, like you're making a really nice shield or something, or a piece of armor, okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't overuse those. And then again, remember, this little button allows you to use universal crafting ingredients, but they won't give you experience then. You will not get this 6 experience, and it kind of says some stuff here for that. Also, there's some items that will actually have multiple choices to pick through. Like if I go to a higher level thing of crafting here, and let's see, let's go to, see if I have one that I can show you. There's another arrow sometimes up here. I'll show you on the other character in a second. All right. So anyway, with that, you kind of know, sweet. All right. You got to the certain level. That's fantastic. All right. Now there's another thing you have to realize. So once you get to the level of expert, okay, it's this one right here. Once you don't have to have the mastery gold anvil done, okay, for that. So again, having all of them mastered is good because you have the other extra options to crit and make the better gear. It's more important later, but you have to finish them in order. Got that? That's really important. You have to finish them in order. So as you can see here, all of these yellows are done. This yellow is done. So if I finish Supreme, I could finish the gray anvil to get the next one open and start working on the next one. But I will not be able to do the yellow mastery anvil of Supreme until I'm done with this 1,400 in the master level. Got it? All right? It's not too hard to understand once you do it a little yourself, but just keep that in mind, okay? So, like, don't think, oh, if I keep working on Supreme, after I finish this, I'll get the next one. I'll start getting the next experience. You won't. It will not open the yellow anvil until you finish the previous yellow mastery anvil. Same thing with having to finish the gray one to open up the next level of crafting. Okay? It goes both ways. But you don't have to master all of them to get to expert. You can just do all the gray anvils for the first 2, and then once you get to expert, this is where you will get your crafting guilds started. Okay, so what are crafting guilds? All right, crafting guilds are a separate thing that basically give you access to a bunch of recipes, and they are a respect thing. Ooh, okay. Don't freak out. I'm walking you through it here. Go ahead and go to your character, all right? And go to or you click C on the keyboard to bring this up, and then go to reputation, all right? Then you can type in guilds. For you, you're not going to have any guilds yet, just like this character doesn't have any guilds yet, okay? But once you get to expert on one of your things, you're going to walk up to this master of crafting guilds, and he is going to let you join certain guilds. Now, if you haven't finished expert level, like I just explained, and you try to join, for example, let's do the Cook's Guild. All right, let's see if I can join the Cook's Guild. Watch what happens.
I am at your
This pops up, I'm going to say train. Nope, you have to be expert level. All right, well, let me go ahead and join the Weapons Guild, because I am expert with my weapons. Boom, there we go. And I just got 20,000 reputation. All right, now here's a little trick I'm just going to throw in. If you know about reputation in this game, and I have a guide on it, but reputation, you can get accelerators if you have any. If you have any to use, sweet. Or you can click on this and it'll open the LOTRO store. You can get accelerators, okay? This will help you get that guild up. But now let's go ahead and just type in guild there in the search, and look at that. We're in the Weaponsmith Guild, and we are a guild initiate, all right? So we just joined, all right? So sweet, keep that in mind. Now I'm also going to join the Scholars Guild, because my scholar level is already all the way to Umbar, so I'll go ahead and join that as well. So now if I go back to reputation, you'll see I'm in both guilds, okay? So at this point, you're going to have to start doing guild stuff, all right? You will pretty much, you need to still be collecting ingredients from the different level areas. Now, real quick, we'll just talk about all the different levels. Real side note, real fast. Apprentice, Journeyman, Expert, Artisan, Master, Supreme, Westfold, Eastment, Westment, Anorian, Doomfold, Ironfold, Minas Ithil, Gundabad, and Umbar. That's the newest level, right? And as you can see, I haven't just started. I haven't done my mastery yet of Umbar, right, for my scholar. Now keep this in mind, okay? Each of these are kind of correlated to level areas. You can kind of usually tell if you open them up and look at their crafting stuff. Some of them will give a level. So pretty much Apprentice and Journeyman are kind of like, the first 5 or 10 levels. It's kind of like 5 or 10 levels. I'll link the wiki article for you to have more details. But if you get to like Master or whatever, and you start getting to different gear, let's use the Weaponsmith. It's a little hard to do a Scholar, because a lot of these don't really have like a level. But you can see here it says minimum level 40. So we know that Artisan's around starting at 40, right? So you can kind of look. Journeyman, let's see, minimum level 13, so you know it's starting around 13. So Apprentice is like 1 to 13, right? You can kind of see by just seeing the minimum levels in the items. You can also see like Experts, right? Weapons for level 22, ranged weapons, right? It says it there. Artisan, weapons for level 32. So now you know it kind of starts at around 32, right? You can kind of see the gaps right there. It's not exact science there. Again, I'll do a LOTRO wiki, but just that'll help you out a little bit if you're trying to learn brand new. So now that I've joined the guilds, and I kind of know how to slowly level up, about the different anvils, what do they even mean, how to get from it looking like Apprentice all the way down to Umbar. You're going to have to have all the different types of materials from all those different areas. So you'll be doing that as you level up. So that's what I always tell people. If you have any item in your inventory that is greenish, okay, that drops from a creature or whatever, pick it up. Also, you want to think about keeping up if you're a prospector or a forester, or a scholar or the cook, depending on what you want. I think the cook, I believe they can pick up any level of food they find around on the map with their little skill. And as you can see here, let me just show you real quick. Here's my little skills to turn on. This is the one for artifacts and stuff. I'm trying to remember. I think the cook can just pick up any cook stuff all the time on the map. They can just find it. The scholar has to be a certain right level of scholar to pick up the scholar, like things in fortresses and stuff that you find, and so does the prospector and the forester, okay? So you do need to kind of keep up your forester or your prospector. Again, this guy isn't any of those, right? This character right now. But you need to keep them up, because if you're not a journeyman prospector, you will not be able to pick up like barrow iron, okay, which is the different levels of iron. Again, I'm gonna have different guide videos talking about all the resources, where to get them, that kind of stuff and the different levels, because this video will get way too long, and I don't want to go too long into it. So let me jump back to my other character real quick. Alrighty, so we're back over to Zollin, but as you can see here, I have the prospecting tool, right, to track mines. And if you look here at prospecting, you can kind of just look and go through. You can see the different kinds of materials. So Doomfold iron, I'm going to have to be Doomfold level to be able to pick that up on the field. And again, this Doomfold iron, it's a little harder to know the level of area, but you kind of learn as you're traveling through the world, like, oh, you know, it's copper and tin is the first kind of stuff you find. That's the low level, and then it's barrel iron, and then it kind of like goes on right into the thing. So you'll have to make sure you're at least finishing your gray anvil. Now, in theory, I know I talked about it already, you could just do all the ones on the left and not even do the mastery levels on the right if you're just trying to keep up so you can farm the resource. So keep that in mind. You don't have to have the yellow ones done if you're just using your character to farm the resource with a pickaxe, right, on the field. Okay, same thing with Forester. All right. So keep that all in mind. Sorry, I'm bumping the camera a little bit. And also, if there's anything that you think I missed, please leave a comment. Or if you have a question of something extra that you're just confused on, I'm trying to make sure I get everything in this video, but this is a very big subject we're covering right now. Hopefully I'm doing a pretty good job for you. Okay, so at this point, now that you know how to craft all that, we need to talk about the guild halls. Where are the guild halls? All that kind of stuff. Also, I didn't point out where the elven crafting people are, so let me just point that out, even though I don't think I'm going to go over there, but it's down here in, I believe it is, yes, it's down here in Calendim. Okay, so the Thorns Hall one is up in Thorns Hall for dwarves. Calendim, they're right down there. You got, again, the Master of Guilds, Crafting Guilds, and you'll have next to him the Master of Apprentices. Okay, basically how to pick your crafting. And again, we have the Breland one, and then of course the one right south of the horse place in Mickle Delving. It's basically up the hill when you leave the horse place. So now with that all settled, we need to talk about the crafting guilds. Now again, I know we've already been talking about them with the reputation and how they work, but basically, let me just show you on this character real quick. I'm going to do a little jump here of information for just a moment and show you the reputation. So if I bring up guilds again, you can see I am Umbar guild member with all the regular guilds. Okay, so there's two different things. Okay, there's the regular guild. There's one for each profession except for prospecting and forester, I believe, are the two that don't get one. They're just for gathering stuff. But all the other ones will have a guild you can join. All right. So now for my character here, I'm going to go ahead and go Master of Guilds. I have all the ones already joined with this character. Okay, so again, prospecting you won't get one, but the other two I'm already done and maxed with. There are some cool things you can get in the LOTRO store. One will instantly level you up, but they're a little bit pricey. All right, they're a little pricey. So I definitely think if you just collect resources as you go, you can do it completely regular and free. All right. Also, people are really wonderful in the Lord of the Rings Online, especially I'm on the home world of Crick Hollow. People will just help you out. If you just need like a few of some resource, usually if you ask in the world chat or say you'll help buy it, most people will just give it to you to be nice. But you can also get stuff on the auction hall, of course, to buy resources. Keep in mind, I'm gonna have a video on the auction hall. Be careful, some things are not worth it. So a lot of people will really mark up the lower level stuff, like between Journeyman and like Westmint, because it's kind of the weird mid levels that people don't really farm as much anymore, right? Because of how levels work in MMOs. So just be careful. Don't waste your money on that too much. You're gonna have to farm some stuff yourself over time, and of course, if you're in a kinship like ours, we actually add our extra stuff to the chest so that you guys, whoever's working on crafting and wants to help add to it, can take it out and use it to help get experience and level up. Okay, things like that. So once you've gotten to Umbar and you're in your guilds, now you need to go to the guild locations. All right, so there are a few places for the guild locations. Again, I will link them in the wiki, but we will do it through the amount here. So I'm going to teleport around here. Here we go. Baruch. All right, so here is the first two. Now there's actually crafting guilds in some of the newer places where they have all the crafting people all in the same spot, but I'm going to show you like all the beginning area crafting spots, and again I will show a wiki explaining all this details, stuff, and information just so everyone knows. I will just flash this real quick. I'll put that in the description. but I'm going to walk you through that because that could get a little overwhelming for a new player. All right, so basically in Thorin's Hall, if you just go over the edge here where the big forges are on the back right, there's 2 halls. When you walk down these stairs, on your left, you're going to have the Metalsmith Guild, and on the right, you're going to have the Weaponsmith Guild, okay? This is where you're going to come when you start those different professions, and anyone can walk in here, but you can't really use them unless you're the right guild. This character doesn't have it, but I'm going to have, basically Zollin uses this one, the Metalsmith Guild. All right, so this is where you'd come and do this. I'm going to walk you through on my other character with him brand new on what he is working on. So these are these 2, and now let's hop to the next ones. Also, this is just a side note at Thorin's Gate, if you are in this area, all right? There's actually the crafting hall here out in the thing, not even, if you don't want to go all the way to the back of the crafting area, even though the guilds are not there. But you can also have the Master of Crafting Guilds is right here as well. So you have a bunch of options as well in this area, and you also have the Master of Apprentices right here. So this is another spot you can come if you're doing the Thorin's Hall area and you don't want to walk all the way to the back. They put it right next to the horse thing. All right, so just a little side note because that's kind of important. There's 2 spots. There's one inside Thorin's Hall, there's one right out here. All right, and if you are a VIP and you do this normal daily VIP one, this is the thing that will help accelerate crafting time, okay, that you can drink, and it'll be on for a few days, which is really helpful if you do subscribe, be a subscriber to the channel. So now I'm going to show you where the guild hall is for cooking. All right, for the guilds, it's going to be over in Delving, and I'm also going to show you where the Master Apprentice is there. All right, so now we're in the Shire. So again, if you come here to Delving and you come to the horse guy right here, all you have to do is just literally walk over this hill, walk right past Bert here. It's basically up this road here, and it's this little area right here, and this is the crafting area. Okay, so this is where you'd also get the Master of Apprentices and Master of Guilds, and then also the Crafting Guild is here. All right, so here we go. It's the cooks. This is the Cooked Crafting Guild. So you'll go into this hobbit hole here. So this is where you'll find the guild for cooking. Okay, welcome to the Cooking Guild. All right, so with that, let's go show you where the Scholar Guild is located. All right, so now we're here in the Rivendell, so we're gonna just be going into the last homely house here in Elrond's home, and this is where the guild for the Scholar is. So I'm gonna show you this location. This is where Grandal, my other character, will be coming to do Scholar Guild stuff. All right, so we'll walk in here. And you can always hover doors to see where it is, like Elrond's house, Bilbo's room, right? All the different locations. And it's actually in his library. So I believe you actually go all the way up to the library, which is on the last floor, correct? Oh, no. There it is. Never mind. Second floor right here. That's why you hover the things. All right. Scholars Guild. All right. So I actually have been here one time, but this is the Scholars Guild. This is where you'll talk to people and be able to do stuff with them. All right. So now that you know where that location is, I'm going to show you where the Tailor Guild is and the other ones. Also, just another thing, a little correction in the previous part of my video. There's only 7 guilds. There's not a Farmer's Guild. So just throwing that out there. In Lord of the Rings Online, farming is just a necessity. Just like it should be. As well as prospecting and foresting. Those do not have guilds. They're just for collecting. So anyway, at this point, now that we're here, I want to show you, it's actually in Estelden where the other guilds are. All right, so you'll come to this let me show you where it is outside real quick so you don't get a little bit confused. These are all the different guild rooms. Let me just go outside so you know where in Estelden. It's actually at the very far end, like almost when you're leaving. All right, so it's right here on this side, right before you go out of Estelden, okay? So you come in with the horse and you walk all the way down to the back side, and it's this building here. This is the Craft Hall of Estelden. And again, this has 3 of the crafting guilds here, okay? So you have your Woodworkers Guild, you have the Jewelers Guild, and I believe the Tailors Guild, okay? So now with all of that and the locations now known, okay? And again, here, and there are other locations that they are too in middle, that some of the other ones are, but these are the original crafting guilds. There are some spots at other places they have as well. And again, you can see the information here that I will leave in the wiki, all this information. And just a bunch of good stuff here if you need it, but this is not important for the video because you're brand new. You'll be going to these locations. Okay, so these are the lower level areas. So now with this in mind, we are going to talk about the stuff with crafting. So as you can see here, my guy has Forester and Woodworker. And then, of course, another good one would have been to put the other ones on here, but I just gave him Prospecting too. But again, see, I just got to Expert and was able to get my Woodworker quest to go join the Woodworker Guild. So I accepted the quest, and then they sent me here, right? And I accepted it from the Master of Guilds. It could be any of the locations I already showed you. They don't have to be in the guild spots, right? The Master of Guilds kind of sends you to the guild spots. All right, so now we're at the Woodworker here. That quest gave me, it basically had me talk to a couple of these characters to kind of introduce me. Had me walk around and just talk to them. And at the end, it gave me a certain item. Okay, it gave me this item, the small expert carving item. And as you can see here, it says this will increase my reputation by 300 with the guilds. Now we're back to reputation. All right, this is the really important part, okay, to get this up. So again, you can keep on getting your crafting levels up normal by just making things with experience. Boom, you're good. You know, that's all you have to do. Processing is always good when you go back and forth between any of them that have processing is nice, even though it does use up your resources. Keep that in mind, right? So now what we need to do, though, is I need to be able to make these small expert carvings, right? They give me reputation. If we bring up our reputation again, if you remember, you can accelerate reputation, right? With the little accelerator down here, if you have it. But if I bring up guilds, you can see I'm an initiate. I'm going to right-click this item that they gave me from finishing that quest. Boom, I got some reputation. Now, it would have doubled if I had accelerator, you know, enough for 300, right? But now, how do I get more? How would you get more? This is the important part. You're going to go up to this girl here, all right?
What do you need? And
you can go through, I would just go through the ones that aren't redded out, you know, defined. But I believe, oh, you know what? Hold on. So tier 1, maybe I'm looking at the, maybe I'm talking to the wrong person here. Hold on. Sorry. I thought it was that one. Oh, no, it's this one. It's the carving recipes. The carvings are the ones how you get experience for your reputation, okay? So as you can see here, if I have it, this one will give me the ability to craft a 900 reputation item. So any of them that I can already craft, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I can get this one. This one's red out. I could buy it now, but I'm not going to at the second. So any of them that aren't red, I'm going to go ahead and buy, all right? So, and I believe that one, oh, that one is red, sorry. And then you right-click them in your inventory and read them. And if you notice, if I go into Woodworker, look at that. There's my item I can now craft, okay? So this is how you're going to get your reputation up. And you might ask, you know, do they have separate, here's another one, separate crafting times? Yes, they do. They all have their own individual cooldown. This one's 18 hours you can make one. This is 2 days, 18 hours. And there are different ones across multiple levels of the crafting tiers, okay? So it starts at expert, and it goes all the way up to, I think it's like Doomfold. I don't know that one off the top of my head. Don't remember that one. It would actually probably say it here if I hovered these. But you can't learn them all until you have gotten to the next levels of reputation. So once I've gotten to the next level of reputation, right? All right, the next level of guild, when I finish initiative and I'm on the next one, then I'll be able to come back to him and buy the next recipes, right? So like this one would be for finishing the artisan level of the reputation. So basically, just so you guys know, the levels of the guilds is similar to these wordings, but I'm just going to show you here on a separate tab so you guys aren't confused. You can actually see them right here on the same link that I will give you in the description for your detailed information if you need it. As you can see here, we have, see how it's very similar. It pretty much is almost the same. Actually, if you look at it, but it's slightly different. Guild Initiate, which is the start, you need 10,000 for Apprentice, and then Journeyman, Expert, Artisan, Master, Eastman, Westman, Honor, and you see you actually skipped one here. And there's a bunch of points for that one. And then at that point, you'll get to the Umbar Guild. So then you'll need to do another 10, and then you'll be part of the Umbar Guild. Once you have finished these levels, and you get the respect that pops you up to the Umbar Guild, we're going to talk about those next, okay? So again, this is going to be over a very long time of work unless you just buy the in-store thing where it says just upgrades one of your, upgrade your tailoring to max Umbar Guild level. And then it basically finishes the regular guilds regular guild for that, and it'll give you respect, and then you can move on from there. So now that you kind of know how to buy these recipes, and you have to craft them at the different levels, right, to get them as you get strong, better and better, and you'll craft these on a daily or weekly basis, whatever the cooldown is. You can do a bunch of them. You'll have to have the separate resources for every different level, which is a little bit challenging. Definitely a little bit challenging, but you'll have to do some farming there too. That's why I highly recommend on all your characters, never get rid of crafting ingredients for yourself, or you could sell them later, right? So make sure you lock them. Don't just sell them as junk, okay? So now, with that all said, we're gonna go back to the other character. Now you know where the guilds are. You know how to level up with the guild reputation and all the different levels with that LOTRO, with that wiki link that I gave you there. You can use that as the template of that information for knowing the exact numbers. Again, you could double the respect you get for all of those little tokens you craft if you use accelerators. That's something though, you know, if you want to put in your hard-earned LOTRO points or spending real money, which I know not everyone's going to want to do. So that's why the goal of this is to do it the normal way. You could say the right way, but the normal way, right? So it does take work. Crafting is, it's definitely rewarding, but also it is a little bit of a challenge. So but if you're watching this video, you're here because you want to craft, right? So, and it is very helpful, and you can sell stuff, right? And you can help other people out. You can sell things. It's very helpful in that way. So now we are going to head to the Swan Guild Hall, okay? In Umbar. I'm going to teleport there, and I'll explain where it is in a second on the map. But this is going to be something once you're pretty much, you know, close to max level, because you have to be careful going into this area because there are some guys that will attack you that are 150. So let me show you the location of where it is real quick on the map. It's right here. It's like right to the right of this tunnel thing. And you can see the little forge anvil, again, with all the different cooking guilds and stuff. So, and there's a horse guy, just so you know, if you use the horse guy, and see, you can see there's some brigands that try to mug you. There's a horse guy right here. So if you use the horse to teleport here, you need to turn around and go this way and go left inside, okay? And if you run through here, I believe they will stop chasing you. Yes, they will. So they will stop chasing you once you're in here. So if you're someone who's a little lower level, you can sneak by them real quick. They will stop chasing you. And there is a little milestone here if you need to use it. So now we're going to go into here, and we're going to start talking about the Swan crafting guilds, okay? So I'm going to use only one example, all right, for you guys, because I'm going to use the Metalsmith, okay? This is the Metalsmith guild guy, all right? So he is going to have a quest you can do on a daily basis, right, to turn in and craft some stuff. It's going to be on your Umbar stuff. You will not be able to get this ability unless you are finished with the other guild reputation, okay? That's the important part. So if I search guilds here, as you can see, I am finished with the Metalsmith's guild, and it says I'm underneath Umbar guild member level now, which then opened the possibility of the actual Umbar Metalsmith guild, which you can see I'm an apprentice of their guild now. So it's like the next level, right? On top of the regular guilds, the Umbar guilds are the new guilds, right? But you have to have completed the other guilds. All right, so just keep all that in mind. And now I'm just going to real quick turn down the audio of the music here. So now with this, basically when you do your daily thing, for me as a Metalsmith, you'll open Umbar. He is going to have some barter items and purchasable things. Depending on what you need to purchase, you need to click on him. So if it's Metalsmith Guild, I go to Browse Shop, and I need to buy the Crate of Shields recipe. The Crate of Shields recipe is how you will get the respect or for the Umbar's guild level, okay? So you'll buy that, and then you'll go into thing, and it'll actually say quest. See how it says quest right here? And you see this option where it says Crate of Shields, all right? So it'll show me, okay, Crate of Shields, and if you hover this, it says a crate filled with shields for Umbar Baharbel, right? And it says you retry the quest, and actually if you hover it, it explains the quest cooldown. 10 hours, 42 minutes. And if I look at it here, it actually is the exact on the item, which is kind of cool. If you have it in your inventory, you can make multiple ones of these ahead, and then just come in every day and turn them in. Just side note, okay? So I go to shields. For me is this, and I need to forge 2 different shields. All right, I need to forge the Protector's Umbar shield, and the reinforced. So if I click on it, the first one's reinforced. Here's that other button I was talking about at the beginning. See how I can actually go through and there's different shield options? I need the protectors one, so I'm going to craft one protector, and I'm going to craft one of the other one. I clicked over on this arrow and make. There you go. I have both. So now if I go over here, I can say make one. All right. And this will become an item in my inventory that I now can trade into this guy tomorrow when the cooldown's up. All right. But since I want to kind of show you guys a little bit more how that works, I'm actually going to go over here to the Jeweler's Guild and finish the Jeweler's Guild right now, okay? So I actually have a crate of jewels already crafted and made, but I will explain it here. So I've already accepted his quest, so I can now turn it in, okay? This is very, very important, this part, okay? So that's what I wanted to show you. So granted, I've accepted his quest. I went over here. I went into the jeweler. I already got, remember, the quest thing from him. So any of them sell it. You go to their browse shop.
Umbar is a free city at
Creative
last.
jewel recipe. See, these are all the recipes for the 7 guilds. Okay, each character has it. Then I went over here and I went over to quest, and I was like, okay, I need to craft these 2 things, right? And it says it: the handmade ring of the waves and the handmade ring of the sea. So I go into my jewelry, which you should already have. These are your base recipes. Rings, and then you can see here, handmade wave of the rings, and if I go over, and of the sea. So I crafted those, and then I made the chest, right? And then I crafted the chest. Now I come over here, I turn the quest back in, all right?
Good day to you,
He's going to
traveler.
give me a couple things. He's going to give me the reputation that I want, because I'm trying to build up the reputation, right? And I'll explain why you need that up in a minute, for endgame stuff here. Redstone, which is fantastic, because these are very hard to get, and they're for the endgame crafting stuff. Recipes, which you're going to need, and some tokens to barter with him. All right, so I'm going to turn that in. Now, there is a weekly quest that you need to complete it 5 times. So within the week, if you can do it at least 5 days out of your week, you will have another quest that you can complete, which will give you virtue experience, will give you 700 respect with that guild. It'll give you a ton of coins. It'll also give you this Umbar crafting rewards selection box. Why this box is good, just so everybody knows, it gives you 2 options. It gives you the option to get this other box, which allows you to right-click and choose a recipe, or this particular special box gives you the option of that, or a universal solvent, which universal solvents are needed for the essences, and so are the redstones, which is something very important in game. And I will explain that in other crafting videos, since this is just a learning the order. We're not going to go into that in this one. But just know that if you want to pick, I would pick the universal solvent most of the time and not the other one, because the recipes get to the point where they get repetitive and you don't need them, even though they're one-time use recipes. You'll get a lot of them as you're doing this. So with this one, pick the universal solvent. I usually recommend that most of the time, unless you know otherwise. And then you get luck stones, which you need for crafting, and barter things. So that's how you do it for the weekly. Very nice, very good. And as you can see, he's got the cooldown now. Now with all this information in your minds, and I'm sure you guys are like reeling right now, right? I'm trying my best to walk you through it. Now at this point, you can click the select your crafting thing, right? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. You can't be talking to an NPC when you do it. And you can choose what you want. For me, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm using. You can send these, by the way, these little scholarly things to anyone, and this is something that I probably could have mentioned right at the beginning of the video too. But these are the endgame ones, Umbar. But these little like crafting scroll case, these are, you'll find them out throughout Middle Earth and at all different levels. Some are for Umbar, some are for the, the journeyman, expert, artisan, and our kinship actually will put extras of these in the kinship house so that everyone can use them. So always keep these too if you find them. It's good because that's how you'll learn your recipes and stuff. Also, there's something that with the other crafting guilds that I should just mention here because I kind of skimmed over it, even though it's not super important. But there's another NPC in all the crafting guild locations that isn't Umbar, right? Like in Esteldin and those different places I showed you, that allows you to buy a bunch of different recipes once you're at certain levels with them, with the regular guild levels. Very handy to find your recipes. There's a bunch. They have like 100 or something. So you can just buy them all once you're at a certain point, and then you click them all in your inventory and learn them all, and your character reads. Okay? Side note. But let's go ahead and just pick Tailor. Okay, so I'm going to select Tailor, and as you can see, I have a Tailor scroll, and I'm going to right-click it. It's going to give me a random thing. Oh, look at that. it actually gave me a recipe I don't know yet. So now I can go ahead and right click this. This is a pretty high level 150 piece of gear with essence slots. So now if I go into my tailoring, you'll see I have a brand new, I'm able to make these gloves now. All right, light armor gloves. And as you notice here, they also take red sea stones. So these are harder end game things, okay? You can also make essences from this point, right? From a tailor, from a metalsmith, and a jeweler, and a couple other classes can too. Here's the universal solvents you need, and then you need some generic, whatever the generic material is as well, whether it be hides, ingots, whatever. Jewelers, I think, use ingots and something else. Again, I will go into this in other videos, detailed into those crafting areas for you guys. This is the overall comprehensive one. Comprehensive meaning the complete, from start to finish, how to get all your reputation. Okay? If I did every single piece of crafting, it'd be a 4-hour video, and that just, no one wants that. But we'll have other videos covering these subjects as well. So at this point now, you can see this is where you'll make essences, boxes, and you can choose your essences. And I'll have another guide on that later. But let's go and look at the barter items real quick, because this is important too.
Umbar is a free city at last.
So basically, there's a couple things. Every crafting profession can make certain things. Now, as a side note, we jump back to this real quick. It actually explains that here, okay, from the Umbar crafting guilds and what they can do. Jewelers can make earrings and a necklace. The cooks can do fellowship-wide buff, table buff. The metalsmith can do the gloves and boots and a special helmet for the upgraded item. I'm going to explain the difference. What are these upgraded items versus these crafted items real fast, because this is like the end game stuff, and this is where a lot of people want to be, and that's why you're probably watching this video. So let's explain this real quick too. It walks you through it with the crafting stuff on how to do it, but at a certain, as you get your respect up, Umbar guild respect up, doing these dailies that I just explained to you a second ago, you're going to get these different recipes. There's, for example, the jeweler can make this necklace, which you'll get one level of it really, really cheap. All right, like the really basic level that's not super great. You can see it right here. And then as you go up in respect, then you can make the next levels, right? And next levels. And then you can see there's some other ones here. And now I can make this level, right? Which I believe I already have this. If you go into the luckstone components, let's see here. All right, here's the normal one. So I actually need this necklace. So I'm going to go ahead and barter for this necklace recipe. And I'm going to read it, so we can look at it real quick. And here it is. So, and as you go up, it gets better and better, okay? And I already have higher reputation, so I'll go ahead and get this one too, barter for it, because I have the coins. I'm gonna read it. You'll see it'll add, there we go, it added in. So now, as you can see, you actually have to like upgrade to get the better and better one. So at the start, you need to make this basic one, and it takes 1 luckstone, 2 polished, and some ingots, okay? And then it's like they're upgradable, okay? Then this one, you need the basic version, right? Which is, if you need the basic necklace version, that is this one right here. And this one needs the really basic. So you make this one, and then you take that necklace and you get a luckstone, which, by the way, if you need the luckstone, you go here and you learn how to craft luckstones. I already know how. Okay, so you craft a luckstone right here. I already have the recipe for it. And then once you have the luckstone, the other one and some, you craft this one, all right? Or this one, sorry. Then you take that one to craft this purple one, right? You get this super luckstone, which you have to get the recipe, which I believe I now have the reputation to get it. Let me just double check. I'll show you guys this as all. Can I get it yet? Where is it? Ah, there it is. Luckstone socket. So I'm going to go ahead and barter for that, and I'm going to learn that recipe. You see why it's like a nesting doll. We're doing nesting dolls, basically, but the other way around. We're crafting something outwards. So then I can make the better luckstone right here, okay? And look at those things. Remember the weekly quest that it gives you 2 of these? That's why you needed the weeklies and the dailies, okay? This is where you get them, all right? We already explained that a second ago. So now we can craft this one, all right? Sweet. Awesome. Now I can get this one with 4 essence slots, right? But what if I want to do the best one, which I believe is 5, all right? Or is it just I'm forgetting. Is it just 4? No, 5. See, look, here's the next one. But to get the next one, which will take more, I can't get it until I'm a journeyman level with the Crafters Guild. So that's why I'm doing my dailies and my weekly quest, because I'm trying to get the reputation of my character up with those particular guilds, right? I want the Jewelers Guild. I have to get this up to, let me hover it, what does it say? Journeyman, okay? I'm at Apprentice with the Jewelers Guild. And if we go back to this page, it'll explain the different levels of reputation right here. And you can see they're right here. Yeah. And you can see it up to tier 15. It's a bunch, all right? And it tiers up all of them. So you can kind of see, oh, there it is right there. Journeyman. So I need 10,000 finished to get to the Journeyman. And so a total points of 30,000, all right? So I'm getting there. So I need to basically finish this 20,000, and then I'll be a Journeyman. And then I'll be able to buy the next level, which is the fancy necklace that I can craft for myself or my guild. And I'll have to use all the other necklaces like the nesting dolls to craft that. Okay? Now again, different crafting guilds do different things. I'm trying to get all my characters up to max crafting guilds. I used a lot of accelerators and stuff and things like that to do it. But with that said, if I go over to the Metalsmith Guild, you'll see a very similar thing with the helmet. Okay? The really good helmet that has a bunch of essence slots. 5 is crazy, okay? So that's pretty cool. Now you kind of know how it works and how that all kind of functions. So now let me talk about it. So now, if you got to this point in the video, impressive. Impressive indeed. I hope that this helped you out. I will have other guide videos on this subject in the future. I was trying to keep it under an hour. We just about did it. It's a lot to cover, and I wanted to actually physically show you the locations and stuff and things. So now that you kind of know where everything is, hopefully at least it will help guide you to be able to figure things out. If you have anything that's a little bit confusing from the video after you've watched the whole thing, you're like, I'm a little confused on this, just leave a comment. I might make another guide video on specifically that, or answer the question directly for you. You can also join our Discord if you need help. Go to voiceoftherings.com, social media tab always has our Discord. You can join, and we do lots of Lord of the Rings stuff there. Not just LOTRO, but lots of LOTRO, and lots of people who could help you with questions on crafting too, including myself and many of our leaders. But with that all said, my friend, a couple little side things, little tricks that I promised that I would show you here at the end that's really important. So one thing that could, if you want to put money into it, is crafting carryalls, okay? Why are crafting carryalls awesome? If you buy them in the LOTRO store, they're bound to your account and your server, which means that you can put them into your shared storage, all right? Which I do all the time. You put them into your shared storage, and then my other characters can pick them up and use them. So I can kind of move around my crafting stuff, right? Whoever needs it. Super handy, all right? So that's one thing. And again, I already talked about this, but I'm going to bring up the LOTRO store for a few things I want to show you before you go. And again, if you are done, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. All right, so with this, we go into crafting. Okay, so these are some side things if you want to put money into it. Craft, there's the large crafting carryalls. You can actually go to the, I believe there is a tab for crafting. There it is. You can go in here. So you can see there's crafting experience, which is very handy. So the 100% crafting experience will help the actual time of putting up the levels on the anvils, okay? Whether it be for leveling the darker anvil or the mastery level anvil, okay? Whatever you earn from whatever you craft. So for example, let's say I was trying to finish Umbar and I was doing processing leather and I was going back and forth between these, just I had a bunch of leather on me. They both give me 8. If I do 100%, it will be 16 per leather. It'll take you a lot less leather and a lot, less time. Of course, if you're a VIP, it'll be very fast crafting, but very helpful. If you're not a VIP, here's the Enduring Universal Crafting Kit. Highly recommend that as well. I believe it looks like, for those who might be like, well, what does it look like, Zollin? I'd like to know what it looks like and what it does. I believe it's like this one. I actually have one that it doesn't look yellow, but it don't look at the blue one. That one came with an expansion I got. So I believe it's the one there. I believe what it gives you is the 20% crit chance for pretty much everything, and it gives you 3 seconds less mining, foresting, and scholar pickups and things like that, and farming. All those ones that have the little scanners. And again, this is not bound, it's bound to your account, so you can move it around. So that's a really helpful thing for crafting. Highly recommend it. good thing to use your points on. We have the rapid crafting boosts in case you aren't VIP and you'd like to just speed it up. You could just use some points you earn for that. But I recommend overall the 100% crafting experience is much better. There's a couple scroll of universal crafting lore. Those are kind of cool. I think they allow you to just kind of have anything. And then we go to the crafting guilds. This is very, very helpful. Crafting guild token of esteem. So if you're someone who just doesn't want to wait and do all of that crafting that I was explaining with, let me show you. All right, so we just go to here and you go to these guild things right here. See the guild crafting? Or no, excuse me, this one. See, I could craft these like things to turn in for experience, right? I was talking about the regular guilds, not Umbar, regular guilds. Well, you could use these to buy some, and then it gives you the ability to choose which guild. They do not work for the Umbar guilds, okay? They're just for the regular guilds, the regular 7, okay? Very helpful, very worth it. Now, they will double the respect they give, just like the items you craft, if you have accelerators, okay? So keep that in mind if you go and get the accelerators, and let me just go ahead and show you where those are real fast. I want to make sure we show everything here. Accelerators. So you can click this, and you can see here's a 5,000 enhance times 5, so that's a good one. So you could get that one with it. Now, this is getting pricey. This is going to add up, but if you're someone who maybe just has a lifetime membership, you get, or you're a subscriber, you have 500 points a month and you just haven't used them, there might be a way to help save you time and resources in the game. But again, you can do it all free, but it will cost you your time playing the game. But you know, if you're having fun and earning the resources as you go, who cares, right? Anyway, so there's that one you can get, which is great. Oh no, unknown error. No, just kidding. All right, so now with that, let's go ahead and go back to the crafting page here. And then we have essences, things for essences, like you can get universal solvents here. If you just don't have enough universal solvents and you don't really want to wait for that every 5 day where you only get one basically for whatever guild you're part of. I'm in 3 guilds so far, so I get 3 of them. But you need more, this is very nice. I highly recommend the universal solvents here, okay? Ingredients packs. Now, we have a special in these chests. We have these at our kinship home. You get them for your house. Basically, you can get universal ingredients every day, every 24 hours or whatever it is, 24 hours? Yeah, or is it 22 hours? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. And crafting component selection box. This, you can get some goodies out of these. Maybe you can, I think you can select things like redstones and stuff out of these, I believe. Oh, does it say Umbar? I actually haven't used these, but might be something you want to check out as well. And then you have recipes. You can buy all sorts of recipe things here. Metalsmith, Tailor, and go through them. And it's kind of cool. Again, a lot of these recipes you'll be able to buy at the guild halls, okay? Whether it be Umbar guild halls or the regular guild halls. Keep that in mind from those NPCs, okay? With that all said, I think I said okay like 5 times just now. Pardon me. But with that all said, I think we've covered a lot of the tricks. There's a few crafting tricks I wanted to talk about that are really probably very helpful for people as they're crafting up to get experience. So let's say you're using those accelerated crafters and you want to be the most efficient as possible with certain things. Just make sure you think about how you're going to do it. But let's say for Metalsmith, let's say I go to expert here, or, you know, let's do prospecting, okay? Prospecting, you can refine certain things, and then you can go back and forth between, pretty much prospecting is pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot of processing. You just basically need to craft all these materials. Some of them you can craft more, the ones that allow you to process, like for example, the Tailor's Guild here, all right, allows you to process things. You can go back and forth between processing them, but keep in mind sometimes when you have your respect up, so let's say for Gundabad processing, you can actually get your crit chance up with some areas. Doesn't work for tailoring for this one particular one, but see, I could go back and forth between these with my tailor tools and being at a workbench, and I could make Gundabad leather and then back and forth, back and forth. So as long as I just have a bunch of hides, it'll help me out, right? One I wanted to show you is actually the Scholar one, which was really, I found really important. The Gemstone one is pretty nice. With jewelers, it seems pretty easy to use processing. Jewelers will need ingots or ore, just like a metalsmith would, or a weaponsmith, which is why they're good with the prospector. Side note, those four together, like we talked about at the very beginning. But the ancient silver, so I could just craft in between these and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that will give me 8 XP over and over, and if you're using 100% accelerator, you're getting 16, right? And there is sometimes, again, ways you can increase that experience, that chance to make it better. In this case, it doesn't really matter with the jeweler. The one trick I want to show you was actually with the scholar, because the scholar is really hard to kind of get stuff. So let me show you that real quick. All right, here's the trick I wanted to show you with the scholar. So if we open up the scholar, there's something I actually realized as I was crafting with the scholar, is that especially when you got to higher levels, okay? So basically you can make these candles, which will give you 6 experience. Let's say this West Mint one, right? Which is great, right? So you just need pieces of these seals. So I made all these first, right? With my 25% chance to crit them to make more, sweet. Then I went over here to this one, right? And I used all of my things, but I went ahead and used a lot of my candles to increase the crit chance of how many I made of each of these. Why did I do that? Because then I could make this next level, and this is the same with like 4 or 5 levels of scholarship, where you'll need these to make these. And then I had some more crafting ones, right? And I had to buy these from suppliers. As you can see here, it says it needs that one from a supplier. So then I used more of my candles to crit these and make more of these, which gave 8 XP per thing. And then this one gave 10. And then, of course, I didn't have any candles left at this point, but it worked out because I had lots more of the books, and I was able to make a bunch of these tomes for 10 experience, and it was very easy for me to finish like 4 or 5 levels. So that's a good little trick. So make sure you look like, what do I need for certain things? Be careful using your crit things for like Umbar level, because you may want those crit things to crit other items later. For just leveling up, you don't really matter, because there's not a whole lot of stuff you're gonna need to make for, if we're all like level 150 on the server, you're not really gonna need to be using a lot of those resources anyway. So doing what I just explained is no big deal for the middle levels and stuff. But once you're to Umbar, you gotta keep in mind that you don't want to go too crazy on that same kind of idea, because like, for example, there, I believe there is the, yeah, see, there's like candles here you can use, but you'll need those candles also for doing other things and crafting other things, and some things you'll want to crit for sure, so don't use up all your candles or whatever if you're scholar. Or the same thing goes for like metalsmiths have a certain rock they get, I think it's the sea stone it's called, and it can be used to crit, or it's something you refine. Not, sea stone is for the jeweler. The other one is the metalsmith. I forget what it's called right now, but you got it. It'll be easy. You'll see what it is. It's the one that allows you to crit. It's the option to crit at the bottom. Okay, that'll figure it out. If you go over, this one is the universal one. You won't need to be using that one unless it's something really special. Like, again, remember, maybe you're trying to do a really, really nice weapon, right? You want it to be able to be crit. Of course, this one I can't crit because I don't have my mastery up yet. But again, if you want something that you want to be able to crit, right, and make really, really nice, like, for example, this oil, some things will just make more of them. So, for example, this oil of Umbar, it just makes 6 instead of 3 if you crit. But some of the weapons will actually have better stats, all right? So that's kind of what you have to keep in mind. Essences you can't crit. But a lot of the weaponry ones, like on my Zollin character, will actually make the weapon better if you crit it. So that's why you want something with a really high chance to do it, because even though it might still be a good item without it, you're going to get like 5% better stats, right? Or if you have the 100% and it's a really good item and you worked really, really hard to make it, like, for example, the nesting doll items, right, that we were talking about, like the necklaces or the helmet or whatever else from Umbar, you might want that 100% chance. So if you have those 100% chance ones, you can usually get them, I think, from a special crafting area too from your dailies. Highly recommend keeping that all in the thought process while you're doing it. Here, let me show you one more thing. We go in here, whoop, open the crafting, and as you can see here, for metalsmithing, if I wanted to make a really nice Umbar piece of armor here, as you can see, I have these nice recipes. By the way, these recipes are the 2 you can buy for the metalsmith that are the higher level blue ones. But as you can see here, this is the item, the bit of pure Umbarian ore. which is what you actually melt down here as from bit of pure ore. And then I can make regular ones, right? And again, just a side note, I can switch between making the certain things with all this stuff to go back and forth for the smelting if I wanted to as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just see how fast I can craft with the VIP thing. It's nice. So I could use this to make more Umbar or ingots, but I kind of want those because I want to be able to use those to craft and have a higher chance at these higher percents. So for example, if you look at this one, it's got 7,500. It's the one on the left there. It's stats, right? But if you look at the one, if it's crafted, it's a tiny bit better. See how it has like 200 more armor, slightly more crit, like 50 more crit. And what is that, like 200 more finesse? So it's like a tiny little increase, but it's still better, right? So you may want to go over and use your special 100% chance to crit. So you make sure you get the better stat, right? That's kind of what you want to keep these all for. But you see, I still have a 60% chance if I use this bit of pure ore with my tools. And I also have the crafted tools, which are very handy if you want to be able to craft them later. But again, this is from the expansion one, or you could buy it. Or if you want, you could craft your own pair of tools. If you ask someone to craft them for you or whatever, with crafting tools, you can now get them in Umbar. And as you can see here, they reduce forest chopping by 5 seconds, mining by 4 seconds, and it says you get a 25% chance to crit with Weaponsmith or Woodworker. And then also, you know, there's the other one, and this is from Metalsmith, 25% chance. So I actually already have them, so if I equip that, and I switched to doing this one instead, you notice now I have a 65% chance. So that's the best I could do without the 100% item, right? Because of those different things. But I like keeping on my universal one because it's a little easier if I'm not trying to crit something special. But with that, my friends, we've covered it. I think I've given... one last thing. I almost forgot. This is also another way to increase that crit chance. It's from Scholars. They can give you a flat percent increase. This is one of the lower level ones. They can give you much higher. So you can get very, very close to 100% crit. If I have on... I'm just going to show you. If I have this, and I read this, gives me 1 minute. And now if I look, I have a 78% chance to crit it. Okay, because I added 13%. And this is a low level one. So this is something nice Scholars can make, okay? That's a lower level one for 50. I can make one probably that gives like a much higher chance. You might be able to get close to 100% with these things I'm showing you. Even without the universal thing. It might be pretty close. I'm not sure if you can get to 100 off the top of my head. I'll have to look at that later when I do a Scholar video for the details on that crafting. All right. Well, my friends, I've studied and worked on this for like 3 weeks with a lot of help from Mr. Ravel and another few of my wonderful people in my community here who helped me out with questions and stuff, who also had been doing crafting. I had to refresh myself because I hadn't done a lot of crafting in the last 2 years. But I really wanted to get all my crafting up, and I wanted to be an expert on it since we're running a kinship guild here. And anyway, with that, my friends, for you guys here on the channel, thanks for watching. Thanks to those wonderful, wonderful Patreons. Subscribe button's there if I earned it. Next episode will be over there, and for guides, and over there will be maybe my voiceover series, which is entertainment. And you guys have a great day. Stay happy. I did it. Okay, we did it, guys. This guide video, I've been like kind of worrying, like, I got this. I can do it. It's going to be a challenging one. So again, if it helped you, again, like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you have any questions, or you think, you know, I slightly missed something, or you're a little confused, leave a comment. I will try my best to answer it. And join our Discord, voiceoftherings.com, social media tab. Have a great day in Middle Earth, guys. Stay happy. I'm at your service and your families. See you guys.